What's up everyone, welcome back to another video. In this video I'll tell y'all how iOS 14 has been running over the last 2 to 4 days and should you upgrade. So, let's get started. Okay, so in this video I'm going to start off with the iPhone 11. The iPhone 11 has been running pretty good. I am draining my battery because I'm doing a cycle charge. So we're just going through and going into app library, going through like these apps and whatever. I'm not having any problems. I know one content creator was saying that they were having problems where if they touched on the first app, like feedback or whatever, in their app library, if they touched on the first app, it would not open. I am not having this problem now. So like if I touch on messages, it's opening up messages. YT Studio, it opened up my YT Studio. And then me having weather apps, I'm not opening them because it would leak my location. Anyways, so on the iPhone 11, simply, we are having, and my iPhone 11 does not like me having it on camera, I guess. Sorry about that. But, okay, anyways, so we had a minor little problem. Whoa, a little bit of a lag. Okay, then. The iPhone 11, for the most part, has been a pretty, not just at the iPhone 11, but the iOS 14 Beta 7 is fantastic. Now, my friend that has an iPhone XS Max, VoiceOver is completely laggy. He has tried everything. He's even restored from a backup from a previous beta. But VoiceOver, especially with all male voices, he's totally blind. They are not able to work. And y'all know my stance on accessibility. Y'all know that accessibility is a given right. That blind people need to be treated the same, need to have the same experience as a sighted person. If a sighted person can freely scroll through their iPhone and view Twitter or view Hangouts or view YouTube and whatever, if they can easily view it like if a sighted person can easily view their phone without system lag, then a person with VoiceOver should have the same right. So VoiceOver on this 11, trying not to knock it over. FaceTime. This is Tom. Books. And that's how the normal traditional voice that he's using. Headings contain activities. Alex would FaceTime. Be this laggy. It would not. Alex would be that laggy on his device. Here's Alex on my device. Actions available. FaceTime. Stocks. App Store. See? Settings. Go to settings. Now it's doing wallpapers. Choose. And also, there's another clue that we're getting close to a GM. And normally it would say WWDC warm, WWDC cool, and whatever. I forgot what this one was. But a coolly to conflagration of overlapping and sometimes translucent modules of color button. An anodyne to conflagration of overlapping and sometimes translucent modules of color button. Big words. Wow. Orange tinted non-geometric recumbent shapes of color overlap in flat dimension. An anodyne to conflagration of overlapping and sometimes translucent modules of color button. So yeah. Settings. You can see that I can scroll with VoiceOver. Choose. Wallpaper. Back button. Wallpaper. Settings. Back button. Settings. Back button. Face ID. Rows 1 to 15 of 100. Wi-Fi. Apple Care Plus. There are 12 days remaining to add Apple Care Plus coverage for this iPhone. Which I probably will put Apple Care. Oh my God. My iPad keeps adjusting brightness. Adjusting the quality over here. Sorry. Sounds. Control center. But you get the drift. You get the gif that the scrolling. You could with VoiceOver. You scroll exactly. Settings. It's a different accessibility. But a person that's blind. VoiceOver off. If they have to use a screen reader called VoiceOver, they should not have any delayed response like a sighted person. Like if a sighted person can view, like if they can scroll through settings like this. But they have to, use there's gestures within VoiceOver. But if you cannot freely scroll with VoiceOver, that is wrong. If you can freely scroll without VoiceOver, you should be able to freely scroll with VoiceOver without any lag between the sound VoiceOver sounds and the actual voice. So yeah. That's where I had the problem with. Now, that's the 11. Now I'm going to go on to the iPhone 7. Hi, old friend. I do not miss you, to be honest. So here's my iPhone 7. It's got an okay battery, I guess. It ain't the best, because you can see here, here's my battery health after 4 years. I actually had to get the battery replaced, so note that. And then optimized battery charging never kicks in on this device. It does on my 11, but it will not kick in on this device because of how quickly it charges. So 78%. And in iOS 14, I'm getting okay battery life. It's not all sunshines and rainbows, but it's okay. Now, as I was saying in my iPhone 11 video, or in the iPhone 11 segment about the iPhone 11 versus the iPhone XS Max, you know, the 7 can have that lag because the 7 is okay. Not just that the 7's okay about it. The 7 is an old device. It's an A10 Fusion chip. I expect lag, so that's why I'm not going to test VoiceOver with it. It will have a decency of lag with all voices. But all voices are optimized on the 11. They are to a very good degree on the 7. They're okay. I'm not hearing of any problems with the 8 or the 10R. What's funny is the XS Max was the one that's having a problem with this beta with VoiceOver, but the 10R is not. So, yeah. Now we're going to move over to iPadOS. What's up, everyone? Here's my iPad Pro. I put the refresh rate back at 120 hertz, so we got that rolling. On the iPad Pro, it's been running amazing, like iOS 12. iPadOS 13 did not run pretty okay with me. So we got my app icons, however, have been running weird, and that is the camera, me switching between the ultra wide and the wide camera because I'm filming on the 11. My FaceTime icon, my App Store icon. Yes, I got 100 App Store updates because I just restored this iPad back to a backup from June because I lost some files which did not come back. So another thing I'm going to bring up at the end of this video, so watch to the end. My app icons were glitched out whenever I would go into portrait. They would get small, very small. And then if I was in landscape, they would also come back to normal size for a brief second and go back to their small size. But they finally straightened themselves out after like 4 to 6 hours. So that's a weird glitch. But all in all, VoiceOver on this iPad.
VoiceOver, clock, reminders.
That's normal for Tom. But VoiceOver in general is
active volume, activity 1.
As I restored.
Maps.
But here's Nikki.
No. App Store. Drive.
So you can see VoiceOver keeps up, which is really good. This is good. iPadOS is running pretty good. Battery life is okay besides group FaceTime calls. If you're in it for a long time, like meetings, if you're in a 2-hour meeting or whatever, watch out. You may lose like 20% battery on an iPad Pro. So, just a little heads up. Now I'm going to go over to the iPad Mini 4. What's up, everyone? Here's the iPad Mini 4. Visually, it's running fine. It opens apps. It does things. It does the iOS stuff and universal search pretty okay. But if you're looking at VoiceOver-wise,
VoiceOver on.
You saw how long that took to activate.
Clock. Notes.
Really swiping really fast like I would with the iPhone 11.
Weather folder. 12 apps. 1 new.
Look at that. It's definitely showing its age. It's definitely on its last leg. Now, if
default.
That's the iPad Pro. Shush, you're not on the spotlight. So, if you are looking at getting if you're looking at maybe, should I upgrade to an iPad Pro, or not an iPad Pro, an iPad Mini 5, or should I still keep my iPad Mini 4 around if you like the mini line? I would suggest upgrading to the iPad Mini 5. But if you are a VoiceOver user, I know my friend Justin, like I said about his XS Max, he's also having the same laggy problem with VoiceOver on his iPad Mini 5. So I don't think it affects everyone because Apple would be fixing it. So if you're looking at getting a new iPad, FaceTime. I would get the iPad Mini 5. All it has is the upgraded internals. I got the iPad Pro for work and because I like it. And then I have my secondary iPad right here, this iPad. Battery life's been okay. It's not the best, but it's showing its age big time. iPad Mini 4 over there is showing its age. iPad Pro has been running pretty okay. So iPadOS on newer devices better. Of course, older devices are going to be worse. But all in all, iPadOS, iOS, almost there. Almost there. Keep going, Apple, in this direction. I actually do like this direction. So, all in all, update your devices to the latest beta. I encourage that. And, our build number ends in B. So once it ends in A, or when the GM comes out, I'll let y'all know. And like I do every video. Next year, however, I will be only running the beta on this device. I will not be running it on the device I'm recording on, the iPhone 11 or my iPad Pro. Due to me and my friend Justin have been not just me, Justin's not going to be running it either on his primary. We're not going to be doing primary devices anymore. Because I had a glitch where my iMessage and FaceTime would send messages from the iPhone, but yet messages would fail if I sent them from the iPad through my email, which you can iMessage me if you really want to, but I encourage people to email me about the live stream event happening at the end of this month. So my main primary device for betas will be this iPhone 7 until it's no longer supported. So the iPad Pro, after the GM is released, I will be removing the beta. This iPad will be covering, the iPad Mini 4 will be covering iPadOS up until it's done receiving updates. The iPhone 11 will stay on public release, and when a public release update comes out, I will use the iPhone 11 I'll use the iPad Pro to record the iPhone. And on the iPhone 11, I'll use the iPad Pro to let y'all know when a public release is out. So we have a little mixture of betas on one device, an older device, and that's how we'll roll things. Because I just been having problems, problems nonstop. It's more about productivity and my workflow. And when a beta starts interfering with my workflow, now for the iOS 12 was good, iOS 11 was horrible. My iPod Touch 6th Gen, which is right here and dead, right here, my iPod Touch 6th generation went into a kernel panic with 11. This survived with a bunch of heat, which caused me to get the battery replaced in iOS 12. When 12 came out, I got the battery replaced. And this device, I don't want another episode of glitches and bugs and whatever. So 13 was interesting, and I was questioning about running betas. I did not run them on the Pro, but I did the Mini 4 and the 7. But the 11 will no longer be running betas after iOS 14.0. Unless something really extremely does break, but it will require iOS 14.2 to be in beta or later. So if something breaks in iOS 14.1 and 14.2 beta actually fixes it, then I will upgrade the iPhone 11. But otherwise, the 7 will be doing the coverage of the iOS 14.0 or iOS 15.0 or 16.0, whatever else is updated, until further notice, because of the bugs and whatever else. So anyways, thank you all so much for watching. I'm sorry I got to change some things around. My productivity is more important, and my quality over quantity is more important too. So just some things changing for me and y'all. So bear with me, and I will see y'all when Apple releases the next beta, which should be on Wednesday the 9th. I would be surprised about Tuesday the 8th, but I expect Wednesday the 9th or Thursday the 10th for them to release the Beta 8, which should be the last beta, and then the week after that should be GM for iPadOS and iOS. So anyways, peace everyone.